We've got some new reporting outrageously confirming that ICE is using bounty hunters to be able to track down immigrants and to be able to report them to ICE. We're going to go over it right now because it's very important for you to see and to learn how they're going to be doing this, how much money is going to be spent in order to help find and locate these immigrants, and for you to have just an understanding of how outrageous all of this is. So let's get into it, right? So back on October 31st, The Intercept reported that bounty hunters were being offered monetary bonuses. They were basically being financially incentivized depending upon how successful they were in tracking down targets by ICE, right? And then they'd have to report those immigrants to ICE. And there was a solicitation that was sent out that we're going to walk through in a second. And that solicitation from DHS basically says, look, we're looking to see, are you an interested contractor or vendor who wants to be a part of this amazing new economic opportunity that you could have, wherein you'll be given bundles of information on 10,000 immigrants at a time to locate. And then depending upon how well you do your job, then you'll not only get the financial bonuses, but then you'll get the chance to do more work for ICE. Increments could raise up to 1 million immigrants to be located by these vendors. And this solicitation that was sent out from DHS said that ICE is exploring incentive-based pricing structures in order to get the most efficient and best results, with monetary bonuses paid out for performance success. Now, earlier this year in February, Politico reported that Eric Prince, Blackwater, and others were pushing to privatize the ability to locate immigrants. In other words, to create this bounty hunter program that would work in private capacities to facilitate DHS's work in locating, tracking down, and securing immigrants for the federal government. Now, the data that would be given to these vendors or contractors by ICE would include case data. It would be given by the government. It would include location information, social media researched and resourced information, photos and documents, etc., showing where this person lives and works. And then with this information being provided by ICE, these private contractors would do surveillance, confirm the accuracy of things like home addresses or work locations, and provide things like time-stamped photographs of the location before reporting back to ICE. Now, the reporting from Wired, which just came out now, says the following. Previously, the contractors that were being solicited for this bounty hunter program, they were looking at as little as $250 with a cap of $90 million each, with the overall program being capped out at $180 million. That was the previous iteration of the program that had been discussed. Now, Wired has reported the following. ICE has now removed spending caps and replaced it with higher per vendor limits. Contractors can now earn up to $281.25 million individually and are financially guaranteed an initial task order payment of at least $7.5 million. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about ICE's intent behind trying to implement this particular immigration policies of Donald Trump? Well, what's going to happen now is contractors are going to get monthly batches of 50,000 cases. And that's going to be a recurring assignment of 50,000 cases. Private investigators would confirm locations. They would use publicly available information and open sourced researched information. But then they would actually go in person to verify the information provided by ICE. Firms would be paid on a fixed price per case with incentivization, financial monetary bonuses for speed and accuracy. These case packets would have various personal data for each immigration target, right? And what's amazing here is when you look at the request for information, the RFI that was sent out by DHS, you will see the level of intent from ICE to be able to make this happen. So let's go through it right now. The RFI from the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, Enforcement and Removal Operations, says the following. This request for information is being used to determine the estimated number of interested vendors capable of meeting this requirement. I mean, I don't really know what the quality control would be for this, but think about it. If you've got an initial guarantee of 7.5 million, I think you'd be hauling ass to want to sign up for this. DHS ICE has an immediate need for skip tracing and process serving services using government-furnished case data with identifiable information, commercial data verification, and physical observation services to verify alien address information, investigate alternative alien address information, confirm the new location of aliens, and deliver material/documents to aliens as appropriate. That's the reason why they want to privatize this service. It says here, how do you respond? Who do you direct it to? Blah, blah, blah. But let's go to Appendix A, Statement of Work. So, as I said, DHS and ICE has an immediate need for those services. Vendors are going to be given a caseload. Now, this was the solicitation that happened before of approximately 10,000 aliens with information residing in an area of the U.S. with the potential to receive further increments of 10,000. Now, as Wire just reported, this is now blown open, right? 50,000 is what they're going to operate with monthly. After the vendor verifies the accuracy of the provided address and/or new location, they will be required to serve official documents on those immigrants. The vendors have to verify the addresses are accurate. If they're not, give new location data. They'll give a collection of photos and documents to verify residence and/or place of employment, and the government will respond by either closing the case or requesting that the documents be delivered. Skip tracing, which is a way of being able to find information about people, is something that is used all the time by law enforcement as well as lawyers, for example. It says here, the vendors have to use all technology systems available to identify and validate the most recent addresses of the aliens' information provided by the federal government prior to trying to effectuate an in-person visit or surveillance, right? And it says here, the vendor has to document each of these visits by providing a written description of the visit and providing time-stamped photographs of the location, etc. And you have to return this information back to the government in less than 90 days after receipt. In addition, the documents have to be served within 5 days of request by the government if documents are to be delivered. Now, here's where I thought that this was just absolutely fucking trippy. 4.0, this is on page 7. The vendor shall ensure that the provision of these services is done in accordance with all applicable federal, state, and local law, with high standards of conduct and with the use of qualified individuals with suitable training, education, experience, and skills to perform the services. Remember how we talked about quality control earlier? Who's going to gatekeep this and make sure that this is being done in compliance with all federal, state, and local laws? I reasonably anticipate several violations of people's confidential information. I reasonably anticipate the violation of people's civil rights. I reasonably anticipate a whole lot of other violations to be happening, because when you wave a carrot in front of people to the tune of millions of dollars to bounty hunt others so that they can be dragged into immigration custody, I'm going to tell you the best and the brightest sure as fuck are not going to be signing up to be able to do this, right? Let's get back to the RFI. Appendix B is the incentive structure. And again, the cap's now gone, right? But the incentive structure, I believe, still stands here. You get incentivized with these monetary bonuses when you successfully verify residence or employment on the first attempt, for timely delivery within 48 hours of receipt of government documents to be able to be served on these people, and bonuses for a high percentage of successful document deliveries, as we just talked about. You also get financial incentives for completing 90% or more of the caseload within a designated period. So like I just said, the incentivization here for getting it right, but maybe doing it the wrong way, is huge. The fact that the federal government finds itself seeking the privatization of this service or these services just goes to show, one, they don't have the manpower to be able to effectuate this within the federal government's kind of, arsenal of people. Number two, it smacks of the privatization, a la Blackwater and others. Private vendors, private contracts doing a lot of the dirty work in ways that people don't know about. The secrecy about these private vendors and these private contracts abound. So when you look at something like this, where now they're realizing either they couldn't maybe find the people when they had the lower financial incentives, and now they've eliminated caps, or maybe they're like, heck, we will get the absolute dregs of society signing up to be able to go and bounty hunt fellow humans. Shit, let's make it financially worth their time. Either way, you skin this cat, it's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And it just turns my stomach to think that now you will have businesses that are run on how many skins you can get. Literally, right? Because it's not like rounding up these immigrants, you're not taking them to Oz, right? You're not taking them to some, Garden of Eden. These people are being shipped to countries from which they have, they're from which they're not even from, with which they have no places like CCOT and El Salvador, which are known torture prisons. That's where these people are going. What kind of human being is going to be signing up to do this work? If the dollar signs are enough and if they're big enough, then I guess it won't make a difference, will it? Be mad, be outraged, share this video, and also, make sure that you're reading these articles and learning about these things, because this is really important information for us to understand as we are a part of this war that is being waged on us as Americans by DHS and ICE. Katie Phang here. We launched the Katie Phang News Channel in partnership with the Midas Touch Network so we could bring you the latest in legal and political news. Straight, no chaser. So if you're a fellow truth teller, hit that subscribe button and share the word about this channel so we can build a high information America together.